I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
I knew it. I love when he does that.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
Adrenaline in my soul, something, something, Cody Rhodes. I'm the tribal chief around here. Yeah, you see me, the tribal chief. That's right.
Time. But let me go ahead and tell you.
Shut your bitch ass up.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 458 of the Hoots Podcast here on this Friday, March 28th, 2025. It's yours truly, the nefarious brother Adam, a.k.a. Joshie Lopez. Hope you guys are having a wonderful week so far. Apologize in advance for this being a abbreviated edition of the podcast this week. Some personal stuff's coming up in my life. I'm having a big move tomorrow out of the current house that I'm living in. Saying goodbye to my Wello and Wellis house for good. Tomorrow morning, as I'm recording this on Thursday night, and sharing a lot of reflective memories at this time. But I'm be a little busy, so I apologize for this not being a fuller length episode. We will do the back porch Q&A session, but just wanted to come here really quick and just say hi and give you guys a show. I do pride myself on consistency, and I really do enjoy the fact that you guys still care about this podcast. We are indeed 42 episodes away from the final edition of this podcast. I thank each and every single one of you who are taking on this journey with me in this final chapter of the show. As always, you can follow me on Twitter if you like at the Hoots Podcast, Instagram at Josh Lopez Music. Make sure to check out my transcripts and play-by-play articles in the results section of WrestlingHeadlines.com as I do each week. Like a blanket, I do Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and Evolve every single week, plus the correlating PLEs for both main roster and NXT, and Saturday night main event specials. Yeah. I wish I could say that I want to do a longer show this week, but there's just too much going on, and I don't want to come in here and say I want to half-ass the show, but I'm not. There's just too much stuff going on. So I guess I'll start off with this and just say, before we get into the wrestling talk, I do want to say really quick, make sure to hit the like button and smash the subscribe button on YouTube. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. I appreciate all of you who support us on YouTube as well, or anywhere you get the Hoots Podcast. You can type it up in Google. It comes to you free of charge every single Friday, anywhere you get your podcasts. We're a couple of weeks away from WrestleMania 41. Today was a kind of a challenge for me from a professional point of view. This is one of those occasions where you see something as a memory on like Facebook, and it could be a good thing, and sometimes it could be a bad thing. And I looked today and I saw that 10 years ago today I made my first trip out of Chicago by myself to cover WrestleMania 31 in San Jose / Santa Clara, California, and at Levi Stadium where the 49ers play. And I was 21 years old at the time. And to have that as my resume, like I did get approved for media credentials for a WrestleMania at the age of 21. The media is something that I'm very proud of, but I think about it 10 years later now, and I'm not even scratching the surface of even getting an invite to these things, and I don't even know if I'm even close to anybody giving a shit about even the articles I do at this point. The podcast is cool. The numbers are consistent. I appreciate that. We're getting closer and closer to 2 million downloads, which is awesome and really, really, really rewarding. I do appreciate you guys. I guess I'm in a little battle of self-confidence with myself and when it comes to my career. And I don't know, it's kind of a humbling feeling in a way. Like 10 years ago at this time, I was going out to San Jose to cover WrestleMania. And I thought I had everything going right in front of me. You know, I was just coming out of graduating broadcasting school at the Illinois Media School. And here I am 10 years later. I barely just got my job back after being furloughed about a year ago. And I'm not even on the radar of, you know, getting approved to get press credentials, let alone being in a press box. You know, I've been doing this stuff for over 10 years now, and I haven't been into one press box for a WWE event. All the other WrestleManias I ever went to watch in person, like in 34 New Orleans and the one in Orlando that I did the year prior in 33, the one I did in Dallas in 38, were all like trips that I paid for myself, you know, and as a fan, sitting in the crowd as a fan. And maybe this is me just talking out loud because I'm a goal-oriented person, and I don't know, it's just like I feel like a collective professional gut punch today. Like, something's got to give. I need to realize whether or not this is for me, and I'm not saying that I'm going to cut off the podcast or anything. I'm still going to continue on with this and make sure we get to episode 500. I don't want anybody to start worrying or anything like that, but I don't know. I don't. When you deal and you live with self-doubt, moments like this like creeps in your head, and you're like, "What did I do wrong? Like what's missing in a way, you know?" And I should be in Vegas for WrestleMania this week, for this year, but I won't. I don't have the money to go out there as a fan, let alone to have the money to even pay for a hotel and flights, even if I wanted to go out there. And I got approved for all this stuff media-wise. Like, I'm like so out of the radar, and like I feel like so out of place of like relevance amongst my colleagues and stuff like that. Like, I generally don't know if anybody still cares about what I have to say or my place in this field anymore, and it sucks, you know. All you can do is bust your ass and be yourself, right? Everybody talks about paying dues and stuff like that, but it's been 10, 11 years, and what do I have to show for it, you know? I saw the articles still rank pretty high up there, but it's also a realization for the publication that I share articles for that my name will never grow to where it needs to go. And that's the thing. I don't have a avenue to showcase my work on a bigger platform because what I do is not available on these other platforms, and the compensation that comes with the amount of work and dedication and grind that I put into these pieces is just not. It's just not there. I'm really, really trying to find a solution in a way, in that the only way I could like make this move to Florida a reality is having a second job and getting a start with whatever my career is going to be in this life. Like, I'm turning 31 in May, and I don't know, it's just I'm trying to find a solution, you know? Like, I was looking at those photos today for Facebook that I was out there in San Jose, and I was like, you know what, like, and I've had this thought in my head anytime I ever went to a wrestling show, you know, like, I go there and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be doing something in the wrestling business. And here I am, still on the outside looking in, barely even getting recognized in my own field in the wrestling media. And it just sucks. So, I don't know. Still going to grind. I'm not going to give up on myself. What is that going to do? But I just don't know. I have these moments where I wonder if people care about the work that I'm putting out there, or if people even recognize the work that I'm putting out there, or notice the effort that I put into these pieces. I really do care about what I do. I really do care about the work that I put out. And at the end of the day, I do believe that I can keep saying to myself that I do believe that a door will open, but I don't know when that's going to be. And trying to find a solution of whatever my second job could be to help me get out of Chicago. It's getting harder as the days go by. And I wish I had the answer. You know, I believe that I'm talented at what I do. My work ethic cannot be questioned. My loyalty cannot be questioned. I feel like I will put my articles up against anybody in the world. And I don't know, guys. I don't know what's missing. I don't know what it is about me that's not getting me in these positions. I don't know what it is that I'm not doing. I don't know why I'm not on a bigger platform at this point. And all I can do in this situation is to continue to work and continue to keep my faith and trust in God that something's going to come out of this, because it was really, really deflating to see that this morning. Like, it's like a big reality check, you know. But we'll work it out. We'll figure it out. Anyways, when we come back, I'll answer your questions for this week's edition of the Backboards Q&A session. And we'll put a ribbon on the bow on this week's edition of the Hoots Podcast. We'll be right back. Eat. All right. One more segment to do here on the podcast of Hoots this week. Let's get into the Back Porch Q&A session this week. Sorry, guys, again for the abbreviated edition for the podcast this week. Really excited for this move tomorrow. Getting into the next transitional period before I move to Florida. So we gotta take things one thing at a time, right? But let's have some fun here and talk a little bit about wrestling. Let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do as we usually do here on the podcast at Hoots. Let's throw up the X for the good brother Chris Zaletta at X Team Zaletta 24X and the Twitter machine. Throw up the X for the good brother Chris. Let's see what he has for us this week. He says, "What up, Oos? Here's some questions for the Q&A this week. Thoughts on Gail Kim's firing? I think it's unfortunate. I think she's awesome at what she does. I think she's a phenomenal wrestling mind. She was a great wrestler during her career, and I love what she brought to the table from behind the scenes standpoint. You see and hear so many different things about how great Gail Kim is as an influence in the back for the women in TNA, and being really kind of the glue that kept that Knockouts division together for all those years, where she was a producer, or a creative member or even somebody behind the scenes. I thought at times she got a little annoying when it came to certain things. But usually get that in wrestling in general. But I really, really enjoyed watching her career. I'm just excited for her to try to start something new. And at the end of the day, I'm just excited for her. It sucks that she got let go. I really don't know what TNA is thinking, to be honest with you, with this situation. But I want to try to look at this from a positive standpoint. And at the end of the day, I think Gail Kim's making the right decision for her. And I think she'll make the best out of it. So that's my answer to that question. Thoughts on LeBron's interview on the McAfee show and his back and forth with Stephen A. I did watch it. Look, I think a lot of this just boils down to wasted energy. Once again, LeBron James makes everything about himself, and I can understand from one end of his situation where he feels like he's disrespected. I just don't. There's just different ways to handle things, and at the end of the day, it's just very embarrassing of what's going on right now, and I don't get it. I don't. It's just ridiculous. Oh man. Yes, sir. By the way, I'm chuckling right now because the Bulls just came back to beat the Lakers. Tremendous. You love to see it. Oh my God, man. Oh man, that's funny. You know, it's funny. We're talking about LeBron James, and this happens right here. Bulls beat the Lakers 119-117. Let's see this. Hold up. Give me 1 second here, guys. By the way, the Lakers were up 91-75 in the fourth quarter. We're up 5 with 16 seconds left. Let's see how this came down. Who won this game? Let's see. Josh Giddey with a walk-off. Oh, that's wonderful. Tremendous. That's beautiful. The Bulls win once again, and down goes Alfred James. Oh, man. I'm sorry, I'm going to type this out as I'm recording this. We'll get back to the wrestling. Oh, my God. Oh man, I need that laugh. Oh my God, that's awesome. Down goes LeBron. Down goes LeBron. Oh man. Anytime the Bulls beat LeBron James, you gotta understand from my point of view, the guy made my sports fandom for 20 years be miserable. So anytime he loses against Chicago, I'm always going to be pumped about it. And a walk-off three-pointer by Josh Giddey, who for whatever strange reason wants to be run out of this town by Nimrods in the city. But, hey, take that, Matt Peck. How about that, pal? On that note, let's get back to the questions at hand here. As far as him and Stephen A., I saw both interviews. You know, I appreciate Stephen A., standing his ground and standing on business. But at the end of the day, the LeBron, Stephen A. stuff is just wasted energy, to be honest with you. Did he catch Baron Corbin's interview with Ariel Helwani? I did. I'm happy for him. He's still going to be grinding. I'm not going to come here and pontificate or speculate as to what's going to happen with who's responsible or who's this one person that that keeps being brought up about the guy that's responsible for Corbin getting released. I don't know, and personally I don't care. It's unfortunate that it's unfortunate Baron Corbin lost his job. I don't know what was the thinking or rationale there, but at the end of the day, I just that behind the scenes stuff is just not for me. I really do not care. At the end of the day, I want this to be enjoyable, but also at the same time, like, there's too much in wrestling today where, it's interesting. John Cena said this week on Raw that he wants to ruin wrestling. Well, I hate to break it to John, and I hate to break it to all of you, but a lot of the people who do shows like this and pontificate on X and do articles and stuff like that, they are just much of a bigger problem as John Cena is. And it's just like another part of me that wanted to keep this podcast short this week is that, not that I didn't enjoy Raw or SmackDown this week, I did, but I think this needs to be an example of discipline and show an example of the power of patience. And sometimes I don't need to blur out my every single thought on wrestling. And that, you see it for yourself. You see the discourse every single day about what's this and what's wrong with that and everything in between during WrestleMania season. And I'm exercising the right of, if I have nothing nice to say, I'm not going to say it. I'm being more mature than I was at the beginning stage of this podcast, because if this was 6-7 years ago, Joshie, like I'll probably be spending the entire podcast just going off on the silliness that I've seen this week on social media and hearing amongst these shows about what's going on with WrestleMania build, this whole thing for the last 2 months. Oh, the WrestleMania build sucks. Oh, the WrestleMania build sucks. I'm not gonna have that discussion with you. If you're too lazy to actually sit down and watch the show without looking at it through the lens of fantasy booking, that's not my problem. That's a you problem. Period. I'm just leaving it at that. Do you think Becky Lynch returns after WrestleMania? Yes. Your thoughts on Saraya departing from AEW? Long overdue. I'm happy for her to get out of the freaking clown shoe fest in Duval County. By the way, congratulations to Saraya for releasing her new book, Hell in Boots, and her new podcast, the Rule Breakers. By the way, Saraya's looking just as good now as she did when she first debuted in WWE. Man, that is one beautiful ass woman. I'm happy for her. She's doing things that's making her happy, and that's really what's important at the end of the day. AEW didn't deserve her in the first place. It's just another example of why Tony Khan is inept at his job. Apparently, Mariah May is in a contract year. Will a new deal be struck at some point? I would think so. I mean, just from what I see and from interviews and stuff like that, I guess Mariah May just vibes more with the AEW vibe. I would love to see her in WWE, but it's all about timing and place. I'm not saying that she will never go to WWE, but she's young, and I think maybe part of her still has a linking towards AEW because that's where she originally wanted to go to in the first place. So, unless it's something where Mariah May starts going after Mercedes Moné in the TBS title, we'll have to see where that goes. But it's interesting. Would Britt Baker? A lot of women's questions this week. Interesting, Chris. Would Britt Baker work out in NXT/WWE in your opinion? Yes. talent, at the end of the day, talent will work out. It's about how you go about it and how you carry yourself. And at the end of the day, Britt Baker is talented. She's hot. She can talk shit and she can wrestle. Period. It doesn't matter if it's NXT or WWE. And honestly, I wouldn't care if Tessa Blanchard came to WWE either. Whatever she said about the racist stuff, I don't condone it. I never will condone it. I will always still want to see her on my television show. People deserve second chances, and that's just my opinion on that. Should the Mae Young Classic return as a way to build towards evolution? I don't know, Chris. Like that's something that needs time to develop. Like what made the Mae Young Classic special is the fact that it was its own entity on the WWE Network. Now that things have changed so much, where things like you don't get as much documentaries, the Cruiserweight Classic, the Mae Young Classic, stuff like that was exclusive to the network. With all the moves now to Peacock and Netflix and stuff like that, like I want it to be a standalone thing. I don't need a Mae Young Classic, a Monday Night Raw where you rarely see half the match unless it's littered with commercial breaks or picture-in-picture. So I'm glad that Evolution is coming back. It should have been continuing as a pay-per-view brand, but I'm glad it is coming back. And it should be a cool show, so I'm happy for the women. But as far as the Mae Young Classic is concerned, I would just keep it going as a separate entity on the network, and you tape it down at the Performance Center. Do you think Javon Evans is involved in Dark State? I do. I think Javon is playing the nice guy right now and being undermined by Trick Williams. That's eventually going to catch up to Trick, and Javon will be behind the group. Whatever that means for Trick in the NXT Championship match at Stand and Deliver, I don't know. It could be a three-way. I wouldn't be surprised. I would rather just keep it traditional one-on-one with Oba and Trick. But I think Javon Evans definitely will play a factor on the show. But that's the thing, is Javon Evans with Dark State, and this is something that happens where he starts fighting Tony D. There's 3 weeks. I think we might be leaning more towards this triple threat match now that I'm thinking about it out loud and I'm talking about it out loud. I do think he is behind the group, and yeah, I can see that happening for sure. But I want to thank Chris for the questions this week. As always, brother, I appreciate it. You do a good job as always. Make sure to follow Chris at Twitter at XTeenZaletta24X on the Twitter machine. And make sure to follow yours truly at Twitter at the Hoots Podcast. I'm on Instagram at Joshie Lopez Music. Hit up my play-by-play articles in the results section of WrestlingHeadlines.com and ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. You can do that as well. And also, don't forget, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe button. The best way to support the Hoots Podcast is to, follow and stream the podcast on Spotify each and every single week. And we're a couple weeks away from WrestleMania, folks. And not only that, the road to episode 500 continues here on the podcast at Hoots. For everybody, I'm Joshie. This has been episode 458 of the Hoots Podcast. Make sure to enjoy the weekend. Big shows this weekend coming up in London for SmackDown and Monday Night Raw. And I believe that SmackDown is at the Rosemont Horizon next Friday. So that should be a lot of fun as well. But on that note, remember, folks, be the authentic product that is yourself. Remember, nobody dictates the pace of your life but yourself and the man upstairs. I'm Joshie. This has been episode 458 of the Hoots Podcast. As the road to episode 500 continues, have a wonderful weekend. We'll talk to y'all next week. Yeah.
Bye-bye, bitch.